Today, we're going to talk about the accounting part, more likely the accounting review part of Navan, how it was intended, and how it was set up on Navan, and how you can work on it as expected from Navan's side, and how you can also adjust your tools and how you can be enabled on the Navan platform as well. Therefore, I'm just going to share my screen with you in order to make sure that you can follow everything that I'm talking about um, during the call. So you should be now able to see my screen here. We are right in the accounting review section of Navan. First of all, how can we get there? So to access the admin dashboard, you can enter the drop down on the left side here and then go to click the admin button. And then on the expense side, you can see here the part activity, and then you can go and enter the accounting review. So in the last part, or in the last webinar, we talked about Navan expense in general, and this is a little bit more deep dive and on how this was thought from Navan side, and to give you an insight, right? So in general, Navan thought about a three persona model, as it is in a lot of companies, that there's one persona who is checking about the policies, the travel policies and expense policies, and is mainly checking those flags that those transactions are coming up. So this can be handled for the persona in the transaction side, for example. You can see all the flags a transaction has. So persona one is more like checking the flag policies, getting back to the traveler, or requesting more information from the traveler itself. The second persona we talked about and thought about was the text persona. So this persona is the person who is checking the tax if the tax was entered correctly by the traveler itself or by the platform, by the software. And this is what you can see here on the tax toggle itself. So when we go in here, you can see all the transactions that require action on the tax side. So if you go in here, you can see, for example, this example transaction, and you can also have a look at the attached receipt that was added by the traveler or automatically from the system. And on the left side, you can then check over the merchant information, the invoice number, and you can also adjust the GL code and add or remove any text details in order to check on the text details and make sure that these are correct. And then you can confirm it. So that's basically the second persona, which is having the look at the taxes itself, make sure that they're correct and set up so that whenever something is synced into the accounting systems, that these information are complete, right? And the third persona is more like the head of accounting who is checking that not only the policy but also the tax informations are correct and that the export can be then done as well. So it's kind of the final review before all the information is handed over to the ERP system from Navan's side. And for this persona, this is the sync tab here. You can see all the transaction itself, or you can also see the transactions which still have some flags on it. You can go in here, you can have a look who or and what the flag is and who was the person participating to that transaction. And you can also go and step over any policy flags if necessary, right? You can also mark them as manually synced. In some cases, some transactions were already manually transferred into an ERP system. So in this case, you're able to mark them as manually synced to take them out of your export, because we want to avoid also duplicate export transactions. In order to go ahead, you can also check all the transactions for persona 3 who in general he wants to see which reviews are required still and which transaction need to be reviewed in general. And also for the final check, you can see here which transactions are ready for the export. And you can also select transactions, mark them as manually synced, for example, or you can also go over and export all the transactions in a CSV format or an Excel format, depending on what you need exactly. Very nice is here that you can build a template which is directly tied or matching your ERP requirements. So you can then also go ahead and export the data in the required template to make sure that whenever you're importing the data into the ERP, that they are correctly filtered and that any unnecessary information is not included, and that also the fields are mapped correctly, right? I'm also going to show you later on how to do that. Otherwise, you can also see here the export history. So every transaction that was either manually or automatically exported into an ERP system or out of Navan is then visible here for everyone, and you can also export the history if necessary. To find specific transactions, you are able to search for any transaction IDs. You can filter for specific dates, different type of dates if you need, and you can also check for the GL codes if you want to have a look at a specific GL code, for example, as a person or as a persona. You can also check for statuses, transaction types, and here you have a lot more filters that you can go into, and you can also, for example, check at a specific user if you want to do that as well. In order to set up this section here in the accounting review section and to have that tax and sync switches, you need to enable that in the accounting preference section. So whenever you go into the accounting preference sections, you have different settings here. One setting is the GL codes, so you can set up the GL codes in general for any of your transactions. Especially important if you have GL codes that are a taxable benefit, you can put that information in here. If you need to add new GL codes, you can do that here, or if you want to remove those. And this is the base for all the GL codes that are then added in the policy, for example, as an automation, or in the accounting review to be then added manually if necessary, or if you need to change those. And if you want to set up the tax settings, you need to enable the tax review feature here in this settings. And this would then give you the toggle between tax and sync. And you can also have then the tax mapping enabled for specific countries. There's a very nice explanation here how the tax mapping works. You can export a CSV in order to start the tax mapping on your ERP system and to match the information from there with Navan. You can see also for example, for Germany, the VAT rates here. You can add your external ERP codes, IDs, and map them correctly. This can be done for almost any country. There are more countries than on the list here and on this demo account, but feel free to also find more information here. And you can, especially over this link here, you see the tax details expense policy. And if you proactively click on it, you will be forwarded to the correct policy settings where you can enable and the tax details, make them required or not permitted or optional for specific countries, right? All right. How do I create a template? If you want to export any of those transactions from the accounting review, you're able to create a template in order to make sure that these fields that we have on the Navan side are correctly mapped to fields on your ERP side. So in this case, you can create and publish a template based on the information Navan is providing and how it should be named on your side. So you can add columns here and map them correctly for your needs, and this would then give you the perfect template for your exports. All right. You can also see drafted templates in case you want to go back, edit again, and but do not want to publish them yet. And here you have also the possibility to check the archive templates as well. Another thing I want to mention here, Navan is not a tax advisor nor a consulting firm for taxes. So we are not legally allowed to make any suggestions on taxes itself. But we do have a company who is supporting you in tax reclamation services. The company is called VAT IT. And if you want to have any information about that, you can access the help center and they will then go get in contact with you in order to support you with any tax reclamation services as well. Just to mention that here on the side. The other question some customers might ask, what's the difference between the accounting review and the statement itself? Which is a very good question. So the statement is, which can be found here, is basically like a credit card statement. It has all the transactions that were done in this specific time period with more advanced data and additional data from Navan side in the system. And everybody who has expense or travel payments can work with that data in general, because that is the data which our customers are charged with. But in the accounting review, you have the chance to make changes to the transactions itself, even after the statement was created, in case some of that additional data, like GL codes, are incorrect on the statement. And so this can help you to also get better information and more complete information into your ERP system, right? The statements, once they are created, we are not touching them. So this means the information is created as, in this case, 19th of May here. All the information in the statements below is as point of creation. But if travelers are uploading an additional receipt in the meantime, or if they add tax information, if they itemize a transaction, or if GL codes are changed, this is not going back onto the statement. Those changes, these are then visible in the accounting review and helps you as a accounting persona or as a head of accounting to see those changes for more complete uploads and exports into your ERP system. All right, that is anything from my side. I also want to mention that we do have a very good article in our help center about any accounting workflows or best practices. So in case you want to go ahead and check any of our help center articles, you can go ahead to the starting landing page and you can access it via Need Help. And in here, you will find a vast majority of articles, guidelines, and about Navan itself. And right here, if we are looking for our accounting workflow, for example, you can find the article, the desired article here. which was created together with our own accounting department and also with some of our customers on how to integrate Navan into your ERP system and into your workflow. So we also are going to share this article with you afterwards. But if you need or want to see that in the meantime, you can feel free to check that out. It's available for everybody and it gives you a broad overview how you can implement Navan here. All right. That's everything from me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. If you have any questions afterwards or while you're watching the recording, please feel free to reach out to us. You all know our emails, but we'll also share them afterwards as well with the recording of this meeting and webinar. And otherwise, I wish everybody a very happy week. Thank you very much for joining.